Hello and welcome to Learn Danish Now 365. My name is the Nordic Educator. I will guide you through the Danish language, step by step, calmly and clearly. Let's begin with some common Danish verbs. At dække, to cover, to set a table. At dæmpe, to dampen, to lower sound, light. At danse, to dance. At danne, to form, to create. At debattere, to debate. At dekorere, to decorate. At dele, to share, to divide. At deltage, to participate, to take part. At demonstrere, to demonstrate, to protest. At diagnostisere, to diagnose. At digte, to compose poetry, to invent. At diskutere, to discuss. At drage, to draw, to go on a journey. Archaic, drage afsted. At drikke, to drink. At drive, to operate a business. At drømme, to dream. At drukne, to drown. At dryppe, to drip, to drip. At dyrke, to cultivate, to grow, to practice. At dømme, to judge, to sentence. At dø, to die. At døbe, to baptize. At dække over, to conceal, to cover up. At døje, to struggle, to suffer with something. At dukke sig, to duck, to crouch. At dunke, to bump, to thump. At dykke, to dive. At dyrke motion, to exercise. At dække bord, to set the table. At diskriminere, to discriminate. At distribuere, to distribute. At dominere, to dominate. At donere, to donate. At downloade, to download. At dræbe, to kill. At droppe, to drop, to skip, to quit. At drukke sig fuld, to get drunk. At dufte, to smell, to scent. At dumpe, to fail an exam. At dække op, to prepare, to arrange table or plan. At dyrke kærlighed, to make love, to express affection. At dykke ned i, to dive into, to explore deeply. At dæmpe ned, to tone down, to soften. At dø ud, to die out, to become extinct. Learning Danish is not about perfection. It's about practice, patience, and progress. Keep listening, keep repeating. You're building not just words, but confidence, Thank you for learning with Learn Danish Now 365. Let's continue this journey, one word at a time.